Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can paint with almost anything, but really, honestly, let's be truthful about this. We'd much rather that you paint with a paintbrush. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the return of your Sunday night addiction. This is Painting with Menoth John. Yes, it's another week, and I'm back from Warmachine Weekend, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the say hello to the Brushheads, Mr. John Spencer.
Hey, Brushheads, how's it going?
Yeah.
Looks like they don't have video yet.
That's
John.
because I only cut over to the actual camera after I start talking.
Oh, well, fair enough.
So they have the Podfather graphic, and then eventually my face will come on along with your face up here. I'm giving you the finger again. I'm poking you right there.
Don't poke me. Don't
All
poke
right.
me.
No poking today because this is a no poking episode of Painting with Menoth John. Low drama, low poking. We're gonna do both of those. But as we launch into our evening here together, John, you know, I think that it's important that we discuss what the hell it is that we're drinking.
Absolutely.
So I am gonna double fist it here tonight, buddy, and I got a little bit of the Kraken, as I'm wont to do, in the old school bottoms up monkey glass. Can't get that T-shirt anymore, John.
Nope.
You can't get that. And I'm also having a lovely little beer from the people at New Glarus. It is it's called Raspberry Tart. I saw the bottle for it in the bathroom of a bar in Seattle called the Pine Box, which is where, let's see, who was it? It was Bruce Lee had his actual funeral in Seattle, was at the Pine Box, and now they have a bottle of New Glarus beer. What are you having there, buddy?
Well, I've got a shot of Kraken and then my standard cherry Dr. Pepper and cherry whiskey mix.
It seems that, John, we are ready and going to have a great show. I just don't know how else to describe it. I'm a little speechless right now. I'm a little verklempt. So to everybody out there who is joining us in our favorite Sunday night tradition, hey, Ron.
Ron.
And a Ron to you, Bonzi. He gave a Ron out to the whole Brushhead Nation. So special one out to you there, Bonzi. I got to finish this rum. So Kurt Hinman hooked me up with some Key Lakai when I was out at Warmachine Weekend. That
is it good?
That shit is legit. Gonna tell you right now, John. That is some. I love my Kraken. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of our mascot rum around here, but boy, could be some Key Lakai coming this way.
I'll keep an eye out for it here. See what I can find.
Yeah, it's really, really tasty. So, we discussed during the pre-ramble, which you only get if you tune in to the Twitch stream 15 minutes or so before the actual start of the show. And we were discussing a few things, and one of the things we talked about was that we wanted to let all the Brushheads know that they have the opportunity to get another Painting with Menoth John shirt.
Yes, they do.
And
fact, you've seen the graphic already. If you've seen this podcast,
this is most certainly true. The shirt this time is utilizing the new Podfather logo, and on the back It has the red Brushhead logo. We took the normally blue Brushhead logo and made it red because it looks really boss on black, and put the addresses for the Twitch feed and the Facebook. But we also, John, put a little something special on the back too. Technology is our friend. That's what we put on the back of our shirt.
It is.
Because irony is the essence of comedy. So there you go. You have a little bit of an update regarding some very special stuff that Mr. Brett Painter is making.
Oh yeah. Brett Painter's making another batch of mead, which should be super sweet.
Oh.
Can't wait. I'm gonna try to save a little more for Creekins because I saved some for her, but it sure looked like a lot more than that in the bottle than it actually ended up being. She barely got a taste.
Well, at least she got
being
that.
She is she can't drink beer or most alcohols because she's on the no gluten. Mead is what she drinks.
Well, there you go. It's not only good, but it's good for those people that have the celiac going on. It's not very silly. They shouldn't call it celiac. They really shouldn't. It seems misleading.
It's misnamed, like the funny bone.
Exactly.
Which is not funny.
Nothing funny about that. Ooh, not at all.
Or is it even a bone, to be honest?
Good
it's
point.
A nerve.
Yes, and when you hit it, you feel like you got boned. So maybe that's what it's all about. Hey, John. John, we have a very special guest today with me here in the studio. As you know, this is about the time of the show when we bring on a spokesmodel for our amazing sponsor, Discount Games Incorporated. But we had a very special thing going on at Warmachine Weekend where people had the opportunity to vote for their favorite spokesmodel for DGI, and the competition was between that rowdy fella, Mr. Pink Mountain King, and Stormy the Stormwall. And they were given the opportunity to tip the masseuse to determine which one would be the victor. John, are you ready for the grand unveiling and our message from our sponsor from the championship spokesmodel?
Absolutely.
Here we go. Hey, how y'all doing? It's Pink Mountain King. And all I got to say to you is, are you done with PMK? Because, I'm okay. And I want to thank each and every one of you who are at Warmachine Weekend for Massage-a-Palooza or whatever we're going to call it. But I got twice as much money as that asshole Stormwall. Let me tell you. I had all my whelps on the Stormwall. We dominated. We came. But just because I won, I don't want you to think that this is over. You can continue voting for me by ordering stuff from Discount Games Incorporated. Discount Games Incorporated urges you to support your local game store whenever possible. Because otherwise you're not going to have any place to play. Damn it. Listen to me. Support your local game store. But on the outside chance that you don't have a local game store, or if they suck or are mean, then try Discount Games Incorporated. You get the free shipping with $50 or more. And I'm worth a mint. But I want to thank you all for voting for me and making me the championship of the spokesmodels, because there weren't that many, and I won. So there, Discount Games Incorporated. It's on the internet. Look for it. It's not that eBay store. He's a poser. It's the real one, the one that Jay has. Yeah. So there you go. Message from the championship spokesmodel, Pink Mountain King. You done with PMK? Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, so there was a lot of that going on over the weekend. It was super sweet, and yeah. So there we go. How do you follow that, John?
Excellent.
How do you follow that up?
I don't know. I'm speechless. Which honestly, this week has not been a new thing. It's been a week of me being speechless, which is rare. So
Well, yeah, we're not going to dwell on it too much. So before we switch over to the painting cam, speaking of weeks that were weird, just want to reach out to the Brushhead community and kind of dial up the seriousness here for just a second. And I wasn't sure if I was going to talk a whole lot about it, and I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot about it, but this is like the second, or, well, it was a whole week of it, and then we had other drama from before, but, folks, calm down. Just calm down. Take a deep breath and think about the fact that when you go onto the internet, that these are actual, honest to God, real life people that we're talking about with real life lives, and that pushing little pewter dudes around is supposed to be an excuse for having a good time and enjoying each other's company. There is almost nothing at stake in this game, John. Were you aware of that nobody's making like lots of money off this game?
Nothing at stake. I mean, sure, you might get a gift card if you win a tournament, maybe, but
Yep.
really,
Yep.
it's not worth being a dick over.
0% of this is big time stuff, and for me, John, it's a big deal for me to be able to go to the conventions, and like we were at Warmachine Weekend here, we had the Old Man tournament, made lots of new friends, and we'll talk a little bit more about that after we dial the seriousness back down. But that's what this game is about, John. And you know, when I started playing this game in 2008, the War Machine community was hands down the best group of gamers I ever had the opportunity to work with. And you know, and by gosh, we still are. But we need to ratchet down the drama llama. Just, you know, put Tina the llama away, and just enjoy each other's company and not get so clutched up. Because when situations happen like what happened this last week, pretty soon, guess what, guys? One of our favorite forms of new entertainment, the whole watching games streamed on the internet, is just going to go away. Because who wants to be the next one? And I'm going to keep on streaming Brunch Machine, you know, when opportunity presents itself and all that kind of stuff. And people can see really wretched play, you know, up close and personal. God, I can't even remember how many mistakes I made during the game on Saturday, John, but they were plentiful. And I think that if Go ahead, John.
I've made a mistake in 100% of the games I've been videoed in. That's 1 for 1.
Yeah, and I promise you that, you know, as I make mistakes in every game, and as I've tried to reach out to people when I've been PM'd an awful lot on Facebook today, and the thing I try to tell people is, you know, when I'm at a local event, even I put a llama bit my sister once. That's awesome. Anyway, when I'm playing at a local tournament, I get the shakes, and you know, I sometimes don't remember everything what happened, and maybe the dice roll, or maybe I forget to cast a spell, or I forget that I have an effect. It's so easy to do that, even in a local event. Imagine doing that on a larger scale, where you know, there's titles and things like that. You know, obviously there's no money, but there's prestige, let's say. And I just, you know, you gotta, before you start going after people, you gotta think real hard about, you know, people do stuff for charity. People do things to help welcome new people into the game and introduce them to a hobby that they love. Be a part of the solution. Don't be a part of the problem. You know, try to be the positivity, and that's what we try to do here, John. You know, we try to be a podcast of positivity. You know, the spiritual successor to what I was trying to do at Lost Hemisphere Radio, and what they have continued to do since my leaving. I know that Chris always keeps it on the positive tip, and so I guess I've said probably about as much as I'm going to say about what the Drama Llama has been up to this week, but I would ask us all, before we get on those on the internets there and in the forums, and by gosh, I was part of the problem during Scoopgate as much as anybody was, and I feel actually kind of rotten about my part in all of that. But you know, think good long and hard, because somebody may stop playing the game that we wish wouldn't, and that's a bad thing, because we're all lesser for it. So that's all I've said. Got anything to add to that, John?
Well, the positive side is take this as a lesson to maybe think a little more about what you're doing. You know,
yep.
Things can be viewed the other way, but you know, just try and take a step back yourself and just you know, just play your game. You know, don't let any of it get to you. There's nothing on the line. It's good fun. As long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter what's happening on the table.
That is 100% the only way you win at this game, is if you have a good time. My God, we're playing with toy soldiers, people.
Yes.
Jesus. Anyway.
Exactly.
All right, so here we go. That's all I got to say about that nonsense. And but I do have something good to say, and I'm going to switch over to the painting cam for it. And tonight is a kind of a special night because just before Warmachine Weekend came, I got my Kickstarter brushes from Games and Gears, and I'm really excited about these. These are the Ichiban Studios brushes, and they're super cool. They're very portable. As you can see, they come with this neat little leatherette case. I mean, if I'm ever going to paint on the road, and I'm going to try and get the painting cam to stop losing its damn mind here, and with the auto, we turn the autofocus off. Okay, there. Okay, see if that helps. So it come with a nice little case here. If I was ever traveling, John, these are certainly the brushes I would take with me. I got a 00. I got a 0, a 1, and a 2. And then I've got one more brush, John, that hasn't arrived yet, and that is their freehand brush. And allegedly that one's really got a special tip to it that is supposed to be really, really good for doing like freehand words or runes or what have you on it. So I'm going to be using these tonight. They pull apart like this, and then you've got the brush on one side, and the handle, you plug it in here, and then you've got your paintbrush. So pretty excited to try these, and I'll be doing all of my painting tonight with the Ichiban Studios. The other one that I have here, this is the Games and Gears Master Hybrid brush. This is one of the ones that they had come out with before. I use this one a lot for the dry brush, and that because it has a little bit of a square tip to it. And then it's got the more of a normal teardrop shaped brush here with a good tip. I use that one. This is an excellent brush for like broad areas. If you want to do a lot of a smooth coat, it holds the water very nicely. I believe it's a sable hair, as are the Ichibans. But the Ichibans appear to have a superior point to them. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting while we continue on talking about things. Oh, there we go. Just hit the table. That's awesome. Any thoughts on what you've seen so far, sir?
It looked pretty cool. I took a look at the Kickstarter when it came out, but I'm not the kind to spend a lot of money on brushes.
Yeah, I understand. Now, see, if I have the microphone here, then everybody gets to look at the damn microphone right in the middle of the shot. So I'm going to reposition the microphone here so that I can talk, paint, and you don't have to look at my damn microphone stand. So let's see how we do here. We're going to try these things. Actually, I need a little bit sharper brush than this. I'm going to start painting some of the rocks that are on on each of the little trolls here with the pink. So I'm going to start off here with a number 1 brush. I'm going to give that one a shot. So, John, I've been talking an awful lot. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's have you do a little bit of the talking here while I fire up the paintbrush. Let's talk a little bit about the ASEAN Challenge.
Absolutely. Well, with all my games with ASEAN, which between before I was officially challenged and after I was challenged, I've played 11.
Okay.
Some of those into what I would not consider ideal matchups. Stuff like Cassius, because, hey, you know what Ret doesn't have a lot of? It's called Pathfinder. Not a lot of Pathfinder in Ret.
Except for those Mage Hunter
probably
guys.
would have dropped... yeah, no Mage Hunters in the ASEAN list.
Oh.
No Strike Force, no Infiltrators, no Griffins. So that pretty much covers all of our main Pathfinder. So, but even in those matchups, it did pretty well. I went 11-1 with it, or
Nice.
10-1. Sorry, 11 games.
Nice.
And the one I lost was a double teleport last gasp by Grail that came out because he had a Tharn Ravager go absolutely, the white mane go nuts on his feet turn. He killed one model, got the white mane forward, then charged through a forest and ate his way through to one of my dudes.
Got it.
And that was one I probably could have easily, or maybe not easily, but I could have prevented. So being 10-1 with that through a bunch of different matchups, I'm pretty much at the point where I understand ASEAN. And he's a solid mid-tier caster. He's got a pretty decent spell list. He is hampered down by a kind of mediocre nuke spell, Arcantric Bolt, and a really crappy spell in God, that one that people get as an ability.
The one that gives them essentially the ability to
Chronomancer.
Chronomancer.
Yeah, that's not a good spell. Like I've tried between that and actually I played him through part of a journeyman league. It's just not a good spell.
The ability to boost after
It
when
takes-
you have like a fury mechanic is pretty super sweet, but
Yeah, or if if hydras were more of a better thing in general, it's just not good enough. I thought about trying them with 2 mana cores to try and get use out of that, but I realized it's not really worth it.
yep, gotcha.
It's like you're changing your list to get use out of a spell that's just not that good. Other than that, his spell is top notch. He's got a pretty good gun. His stats are kind of unfortunate, being Mat 5, Rat 6, and a 15/15.
And a low power sword is on top of it.
It has Dispel on the sword, but you're Mat 5.
Yep, good luck hitting.
Even boosting, you're going to miss stuff.
Yeah.
And his feat is slightly unfortunate because, I mean, it's really good. It's a really good feat, but it's slightly unfortunate because you have to get them, the guys you want to blow up, into your control area.
Yeah,
So,
you're putting yourself seriously in harm's way at that point.
yeah. So, it's pretty good. Like I said, I'll call him mid-tier. He can get the job done. He's amazing in a 3 list. If you're doing a 3 list, I think he's definitely worth considering.
How many shots of Kraken would it take you to put him on the table next time?
One shot of Kraken.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, you need to be a little loosened up because stuff could happen. But he's got all the tools. And I haven't even tried him with his standard Mage Hunter Strike Force and all that BS to blow people straight to heck. But I kind of wanted to try. I saw the opportunity to make him a good anti-Hordes caster with that. So he's pretty much done with him. I've been trying out some Viros too. Similar record with Viros 2. Lost a game to Bradigus, but it was really late and it was Bradigus' team. And let me tell you, the game was fun because of the guy I was playing against, but I could see in a tournament that would be frustrating as crap.
I got to go back and look at the war rooms and reacquaint myself with what that theme actually is. But can you give me the salient points just right off the top of my head, off your head?
Well, luckily, the part people are worried about is it gives Sentry Stones 3 Fury. So what they do is they move forward, their mannequins move forward, and they may become forests, blocking off a good bunch of line of sight, and then it makes 3 more mannequins.
Gotcha.
So it does it again. But luckily, that doesn't work versus me because I have Griffins, and I have Bird's Eye, so I can see through it. So it became just a slog in the middle of the field.
Got it.
Like it was supply and demand, and it was a zone full of wreck markers and dead wolves at the end of the game.
Jeez.
And one dead Viros because he had if you're playing against Bradigus, keep an eye out. Keep very careful on the 3 set. It's 3 sets of stones, but he probably won't have any overseer with him. Keep an eye on because the stone blends in with Bradigus really well because he's got all those stones on his base.
Yep.
And I didn't realize he had stone left, so he teleported over the front lines barely, and then feeded into me and had enough to get it done. Not by a lot. Like if I'd done a little better earlier in the game, I feel like I could have gotten through that. So there you go.
I'm gonna have to. I haven't played against that caster yet, and I'm interested to see. Perhaps I can convince Zach to come for a brunch machine with the old Bradigus, and I'm buying a Bradigus for Mr. Ed Defoe because he's painting my Berica.
Cool. Yeah, he's pretty cool. But there you go. And overall, I think my temporary time with Rhett is coming to an end. Got some input from people I respect. That would be Chain Attack guys on the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of circle in the area, so I asked him, is it really a good idea for me to play circle with, Banian plays circle, Bowie's playing circle, Eagles fans playing circle, and then we have at least one other guy who just started coming to the store who plays circle.
Man, that's a lot of circle.
Plus people here and there. And I'm like, is it a good idea? And they're like, play what you want to play, You'll get better because there's a lot of people who used to playing against circle. So I'm going to go with that because I really think I want to play them. Because I mean, aside from one game in a spell draft last year about this time, they haven't got a lot of play in about 2 years.
Dude, you should absolutely play exactly what you want to play, and that's no joke. I mean, yeah, I got to play. I'm playing Trolls right now because Trolls make me happy, and that's exactly the beginning and the end as far as what people's criteria for playing is. Play stuff that makes you want to get out there and put stuff on the table, or paint it.
Yeah. Need to get back into painting. I've got a couple things in the work, but they're Malifaux models. But there we go. That's my Ret report.
Cool, man.
I'll be back to Ret again. They're kind of my second/third faction, so they're always going to get pushed aside here and there. And they do play a little similarly to my mercenaries being a very big combined arms army. So it's hard to play them for a really long period of time like that.
I hear you.
Because mercs are my first love, and you really want something different for your change of pace.
Nope, I understand.
Sort of why I got rid of Signar and Trolls, because they're sort of combined armsy too. And if all your armies are really combined armsy, you get kind of bored.
No, I understand that. I mean, I picked up Red originally as a second faction after my Protector because I wanted something very, very different than Protectorate. So,
and they are. Protector doesn't play quite. I mean, they play combined arms. And when I say combined, doesn't mean that really you get a good solid mix of range and melee. And Menoth doesn't tend to do that so much. They're really more of, hey, look, we're melee, but we got a couple good range pieces to take out things here or there. That's their default, I would say.
Yep. Some of the ranged pieces, like zealots and things like that, they have. They don't necessarily wow you with their power per se, but they have such toolboxy sort of applications that it makes it a lot of fun to play. I don't know. I'm kind of getting the itch again to play me some Protectorate, but we'll see if and when that happens.
Absolutely. So there we go. We'll be doing Circle, and I will of course be getting Cindervale to challenge me again because I like challenges. That's kind of what I'm into this game, and I'm not necessarily into sus, the special unique snowflake syndrome, but I do like to be challenged, but people don't necessarily think is good. That way I can draw my own conclusions. Is it good? Is it not? And honestly, if you try stuff that people don't think is good, you're only going to get better because you're used to using quote unquote subpar pieces.
Yep. Well, we got one of the.
Wants to play Grail. I do want to play Grail. I love Grail. I'm 1-0 with Grail. Boom.
Boom. Suck it. Yeah, I never played Grail. I got out of Circle before that happened, but I respect people who play that, and you got, like I said, as we say here, play what makes you happy, because if you want to get out there and paint the stuff, looking at a model that you hate is not going to make painting it any much more easy to do. I honestly don't know if I want.
I'm excited about my ret paint scheme.
What's that, John?
So I'm not exactly excited about my ret paint scheme either.
Oh,
it's solid, but I think I need to find something to make it pop.
That's been the key for me, is finding a paint scheme that has the combination of looking good and is fast. And I've gotten with my Retribution, I've got that, and with my Trolls, I certainly have that. These Trolls are like, they almost paint themselves.
Yeah, they're cool.
But
forgot to mention the Mountain King is especially super sweet.
Super sweet. PMK's all right. He looks all right. I'm super happy with how he turned out. He actually painted really, really fast too. So that's the night. It's like a double rainbow. But cool. I have a few things to talk about with Warmachine Weekend, if you don't mind, John. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Old Man tournament. We had a wonderful turnout. We had 16 players, and we were able to we got Painting with Menoth John shot glasses in each and every one of their hands, which was wonderful. And I brought a liter. Was it the big bottles are? Gotta look at it here. 1.75 liters. And we had a full bottle at the beginning of the tournament, and it was gone by the mid part of round 2. So there we all took a shot at the beginning of it. We referred to it as the People's Kraken because it was kind of everyone was sharing it, and I think that was one of the nicest, most fun tournaments that I've taken part in a long time. Everybody was just having a great time. Everyone was super chill with, not being overly zealous about this, that, or the other thing. We were playing tight games, of course, but nobody was, saying, oh, well, you missed that one by, a quarter of an inch and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't all, it wasn't lax, but it wasn't, stupid either. And we had a great time. The eventual winner was Jerry Hodgson from Canada, and maybe Nigel can confirm this in the chat room or not, but he may have been on Team Canada for WTC. And if that's the case, we had a ringer in our midst. old Stubbs and I were doing our best to keep up with these whippersnappers, but we had might have had a couple ringers in the audience, and I took second in my flight, playing my Epic Madrak list that I enjoy very much with the full boat of Creel Warriors and the Warders and the Fenblades. And then I also played, because I couldn't fit my Doomshaper list onto the tray that I brought with me, I went ahead and took Gristle 1 and just stuck Gristle 1 in the exact same list that I had my Madrak 2 list on, and it played pretty differently. Turns out that list, when you have Speed 7, or excuse me, not Speed 7, but +2 movement Creel Warriors, and you have mini-feated Fenblades, and you have the Hoofit going off from the feet, that list gets up the field right the hell now. And I was over, if I went first, I was over mid line on the end of turn 1 with Trolls. And there was one game that I played against Captain Hook, Mr. Hooks from the Fabulousness of Columbus, that he was playing Circle, and I pushed so hard on turn 1 with Gristle 1 that I essentially froze him out of scenario immediately. I literally pushed through, and he was maybe not as aggressive as he could have been on his first turn, and I basically just put a wall of Fenblades around the objective, set my caster on the flag, and just started scoring points. And it was just a matter of waiting for the game to end at that point. He just literally could not bring enough through with the amount of time that he had left, and I won the game. But great games, fantastic guys. From what I understand, there is a move afoot to make this a multi-con type of a thing, where we get one at TempleCon, we get one at Adepticon, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Stubbs would have to take care of kind of pushing it forward with the New England Privateers guys for the TempleCon, but I'm gonna have a little word with my good friend Mr. Dark Legacy for the Adepticon and see if we can't get one going for the Adepticon. But it was super fun. It's, for me, that's how events ought to be. It was just fun till our daddy took our T-Bird away.
Cool. And apparently Jerry Hodson's not only on Team Canada 2, he's the captain.
So we kind of will never let him play again. Don't need that. This is supposed to be an opportunity for people like Stubbs and I to have a chance to win something sometime. And with him in the mix, that's just never going to happen.
Nah, he's a challenge.
Is that what he is?
Take him.
Is that what he is? All right, so I'll take your word for it, because. But I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask for a nicer fella. I'd be happy to. I'd want him in every one of the tournaments we do, because he's just he exemplifies the game. He's a good sport, a great guy, brings a lot to the experience, and I just had a wonderful time. Best tournament I've been in a long time.
Super awesome.
Hey, remember, John, how I said I'd never paint pink cloaks again?
Yeah?
Yeah, pink cloaks are happening right now on Horthal, and I'm really hating it. So
well,
that's
got to happen sometime.
It does, and so hey, we really ate through a lot of time there, buddy.
We did.
Do you think we should flip over to everyone's most popular segment here on the Painting with Mental John show?
Absolutely.
Outstanding. So I'm gonna toast here, opening up the Flippity Bloop segment with a little bit of this raspberry tart again. So on behalf of John and I, to all of you out there in the chat room, we wouldn't this wouldn't be half as much fun without you. Hey, Ron.
Ron. It's probably a good time to mention that we're Greenleaf Terrain's in the chat room, and we are actually sponsored by Greenleaf Terrain now as well.
Oh my God, yes! I didn't even realize he was here. I was totally remiss in saying that. If you look down in the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to try and poke it. I'm going to poke it. I got to figure this out here. I got the camera. All right, it's down. This is really hard. It's okay. So let's see. It's down here. It's by these guys. Okay, so if I go back over here and now move towards the blue one, there we go. I'm poking you, Greenleaf Terrain. I'm poking. All right, so there you go. They are an official sponsor here. I got a message from them saying that they really enjoyed the Cluster F-A-Palooza that we published here earlier in the week, and I have to say it was pretty epic.
It was very hilarious. Very hilarious.
I blame Zosha Starscream for starting it all, and give her the credit as well, because she made the first wee-wee joke, and then it all went downhill from there.
Well, to go on that a little bit, I have gotten permission from the spousal unit to go to the next Warmachine Weekend.
Woohoo!
We're just working on details between me and some buddies. It might not work out the way we want because one of my buddies would like to go too, not Brushhead Dave.
Yep.
But we're working the same department at work, and November's a busy time. We might not actually be allowed to both take off the same couple days.
Ruh-roh.
But we'll see how it goes, and keep everyone updated with that.
Well,
I should be able to make it.
Anybody that calls themselves
anybody
that calls themselves not Brushhead, I have to clearly be rooting for you.
I call him not Brushhead Dave because he's only listened to 2 episodes, the first episode and then the Cluster F-A-Palooza.
Right, but I can toss him underneath the bus real good and hard right now because he's not listening.
Yeah, he won't. So. Yeah, he'll never hear this.
Yeah. So, good luck to you, John Spencer.
You met him in person twice. He goes a little twitchy when you say the co-host with the mo-host. It drives him nuts.
Well, you are the co-host with the mo-host. So there you go. Little twitch for you there, not Brushhead Dave. And I'm rooting for you on the coming out to Warmachine Weekend because it would be super sweet to have you there on the mics for the in person for the Cluster F-A-Palooza, and then have you start making the tour around. The biggest
hoping to get there. We'll see.
The biggest coup, of course, was David Carl being on the podcast. I would have bet a lot of money that was
still employed.
Yep, still employed. Haven't heard of him losing his job yet, so God willing, it won't happen. But I would have bet like large sums of money that nobody from Privateer would ever appear on my show. But hey, there you go.
All right, so FlippityBloops.
FlippityBloop.
We'll start with one from Declan Lowry. He does a 2-parter here. First is Scott's girlfriend seems very sweet. Who's trading up and who's trading down?
Without question, she's trading down. I've met her.
What I would have said.
I've met her. She's a very sweet person. She obviously has the patience of Job, and God bless her for helping to keep that guy on the straight and narrow to a certain extent.
Yep. I have obviously not met her, but Brett Painter had nice things to say, so I'll go with that. Sounds good to me.
Yep, she seems very nice.
And then he asked, did you get a chance to meet Kieran Bolger at Warmachine Weekend, and were you able to say his name correctly?
Yes and no. I did meet Kieran. He walked up to me in a very large Lucky the Leprechaun hat and put his arm around me and then shoved a bottle of Scotch whiskey in my face, or Irish whiskey, or whatever it is, and proceeded to introduce himself and said, "Declan says hi." And I was like, aces. But a heck of a nice guy. Had a real nice drink with him, and he was more drunk than I was all weekend.
Well, he is Irish.
Yes. I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast or not about the time I met the Irish in Minnesota. Did I ever tell the story about me and the Irish in Minnesota?
I don't think so.
So I was moving from, I think at the time it was Buffalo, New York, and I was moving back to live in Minnesota, and I picked up I was staying at a hotel, and there was a bunch of Irish people from Ireland who were going to Boston Scientific for some kind of a business thing. And I thought, me being from Wisconsin, that I'd be able to, I can drink, shit. I'm from Wisconsin. So I said, well, I'm from Wisconsin and stuff, so, we know how to drink too. Ah, so you think you know how to drink? You do. And then I wouldn't have been surprised to see my shoes come flying out of my mouth later on in that night, as I proceeded to expel everything that was in my stomach out through my mouth. So, yeah, bad times. And the Irish, they know how to drink. I think it's kind of a cultural thing, from what I hear.
Good life lesson there.
Yes, exactly. So I think I hear you're getting yourself a drink. Your microphone is at least as good as mine, John.
Well, I'm not being very quiet about it.
No, why would you be?
Yeah. So, Bonzi's got a good one. He says, since DC was on your podcast, is there a chance of getting more PP staffers on your podcast?
Not a
He'd like to
chance.
hear us with with Doug Seacat.
Yeah, I mean that would be nice. Not a chance in hell. There is no chance that he will be joining us. So here, aside from the haha whatever, here's why I don't do it and why I won't ask for it is that, and I don't blame them, is that they are a brand organization and they put they have to protect their brand. And as a result, what they do for podcasts usually, at least back in the day when when I was on Lost Hemisphere, is that we would have to, if we had a Privateer Press staffer on there, we would have to submit the questions we were going to ask them ahead of time, and we would have to submit the podcast before we posted it. So essentially what it would end up doing is it would cause us to be a little delayed in our release schedule, on top of being very beholden to whatever it was that they did or did not want to talk about. And John,
yeah, I'm not about that.
We do this kind of as an off the cuff thing that we do like to enjoy, and we enjoy each other's company and enjoy the company of the Brushheads. And I just, it'd be fun to talk about some of those kinds of things, but the process you go through makes it a little onerous, and I understand why they do it, and I support why they do it. I just don't think it's for us.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I might do something where I'd say, like, hey, you don't have to answer any question, and we won't hold it against you, but none of this, we don't know what's going to be asked before we ask it. Good Lord.
No, I don't think that far ahead. I mean, it's...
No.
And the cornerstone of our show is the group participation angle that we shoot for with the FlippityBloops, and that just straight up can't happen. And I would want, anytime that we'd have a staffer on, I would want to give the Brushheads, especially those in the chat room during the show, the opportunity to kind of express themselves. And it just seems like, enough said. Not going to happen. Nice thought. Not going to happen.
All right, and so for Bonzi's troll one, because he can't go a week without a troll one.
That's what we love about him. Yep.
He goes, who was more drunk at Warmachine Weekend, Scott or Chili?
You know what? I'll be very honest with you. Neither of them were in very bad shape at all. I don't remember ever seeing Chili really lit, and I know I didn't see Scott genuinely screwed up at all. And so in fact, I think that Scott's kind of taken a good hard look at how things are, and that pretty lady he's got on his arm, and wants to, cut things back a little bit. And, I think that the more of us who are at the cons and stuff like that, who are supportive of that effort, I think the easier it'll be for him, and that's a great way you can support one of the really good guys in the community, Mr. Scott Ray.
There you go. And he follows up finally with a painting pro tip. If you're facing a particularly thick meniscus on your water pot when you try painting, try using your fingertip first to help break it up before putting your wide barrel white army painter brush in there.
Well, that's always a good tip.
Much happier.
That's always a good tip. I mean, if you're going to break the meniscus, you really need to make sure that you do it with a lot of care, and to do it digitally is certainly a way where you have more control over how hard you're going to penetrate that surface. And you gotta pay attention to the paints. You can't just ram it on in there and expect that paint pot to keep on coming back for more. You have to be gentle about it. You have to take into consideration its needs, and really, it's just better hobbying. It really is. So FlippityBloop. If you want 40 minutes of that, turn into the Caster Effapalooza episode of Painting with Menoth John.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Boiling Point Bob asks, how should one deal with negativity in a gaming meta?
Boy, I think I'm going to basically take it from the standpoint of be a good example. Is to really the best about the only thing, people are going to be whoever they're going to be. And there's not a whole lot you can really do about it, but you do have control over who you are. And I really suggest that you just try to be a good example. It's kind of like what we do here at Painting with Menoth John. We try to be a podcast of positivity. We try to be a good example to the community of, trying to, paint up your stuff and have fun and do good by the game. So I would say if there's negativity in your meta, try to be a good example. And the other thing is have courage. If a person's being not a good person, tell them. Maybe you're a little intimidated by them. That's kind of a next level kind of a thing, is to try to confront them. I mean, you don't want to get all crazy and confront them, but say, hey, that's not cool. So it's like bullying. Don't be a bully. There,
Yeah.
Boom. What do you think, John?
Be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom I read somewhere, and they apply here.
Yep.
Just lead by example as best you can. If someone's being negative, just try and shut it down.
Yep.
Just shut it down and be like, hey, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about positive stuff.
Yeah, I was at a
This
dinner.
isn't going to help anyone. This isn't going to do anything.
Yep. I was at a dinner with Belinda Librarian here the other day, and I saw some real negativity take place within this particular club that we were having a dinner for. And, it's the best thing you can do is to really, show the community what it is to be a good member of the community. That's the best thing you can do. There you go.
Exactly.
FlippityBloop.
All right, Tim Rich asks, favorite tabletop role-playing game and your favorite class in that role-playing game.
All right, so you want to take this one first, John? You do more role-playing than I do.
A little bit. Well, my favorite would be Champions, or the hero system, and we don't need no stinking classes. It's entirely point-based. You make what you want to make.
For me,
it's kind of cheating.
Yep.
But there you go.
That sounds a lot of fun, though. Now, Champions, that's essentially, it's like a superhero kind of a theme, right?
It is. It was made as a superhero game. It has been expanded. I can do anything. I actually, on the Winterweb somewhere, there is my Robotech conversions for Champions, where I took the source material. Oh, I'm going full geek here. I took source material from websites where they've gathered everything, from all the notes and everything they could find, and I've made Champions conversions for a ton of that stuff. It's kind of funny.
This is a podcast that always will support your need to go full geek, so don't you worry about that.
But yeah, so it can do anything, and we've done some crazy things. We've actually played a samurai game, me and some buddies. We've played games based on anime. It's pretty sweet. It is a little clunky, and the combat can get a little clunky, but it definitely can do anything you want.
And there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
So
what about you?
I will tell you that I'm sure that there's a lot of people that like the IK role-playing game and all that kind of stuff. Right now, I am absolutely in love with 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I think that they have done so much to correct some of the deficiencies in that system, as far as it's so much less of a multiplayer sort of miniatures game.
Careful. I liked 4th edition quite a bit.
Well, no, I'm not making. It's okay for people to like that stuff. I mean, this is a personal taste question, and
yeah.
I when I role play, I want to. I like the aspect of the theater of the mind stuff, and I like the fact that I can tailor that game very easily for, even my kids. Where I play a very not crunchy version of 5th edition, where we have our armor classes and we add our modifiers, which are very basic modifiers, and we just go ahead and roll a die and see what happens. Is it 100%? Am I playing like every single rule in 5th edition? Probably not.
No.
Do I care?
You don't need to.
No. I think that it's a game that rewards really playing the kind of game you want to play, and that's what I like about it. So as for class, cripes, I don't know. My one boy is a wizard, my other boy is a rogue. Belinda's playing a warrior, and they're all fun. They're all fun for very different reasons. They all bring something unique to the party, and we are having just the best time ever playing the game. Wish we played more frequently, but we only started playing once school, almost just before school started back up again, which puts a major kink in our ability because I'd only see my younger boy every other week at that point. So, but
Gotcha.
yeah, so there you go, 5th edition. Love it. Try it. Give it a try, folks.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to a game I kickstarted recently, the 2nd edition of Feng Shui, which is based off a card game that me and some buddies played. It is like every Hong Kong action trope ever put into the same game.
Gotta like that.
It's pretty sweet. Looking forward to it. It is the epitome of not crunchy. They have a line in there, the map is not your friend. Which I've sort of taken to heart a lot in a lot of games.
So what do you do? Basically role play out what your character's doing, and then is there?
Do you need a map? It's like I move over here and do this. Cool. You're pretty fast. You're in range. Done. There's a theory of game mastering where unless you absolutely have to, just say yes.
Yeah.
Unless you have to say no, just say yes. I want to do this. Okay, roll a die. See if it works. That's
kind of that's sort of in the area, somewhat of the theory I have when I'm playing my D&D stuff with the kids. That's why I gave them all fairy dragons. I got the monster manual, and Belinda and I were going through it, and we decided, I wanted something to kind of spice it up for them, and my kids love pets and things like that. And here's like, well, look at this. There are these dragons that are the size of a cat. Let's give them all cats. So I made up a quick little side adventure and had them defend the eggs while they were hatching them, and it was super fun. We had a great time with it. Now they have little dragons they carry around with them that kind of help them a little bit, but mostly they're just a MacGuffin on their shoulder.
It's super fun. I've done the same thing even in a superhero game.
Yep. Super sweet. FlippityBloop.
All right, Lee McAlpin gives you thanks for the share of the Murder of Crows podcast, and then he asks, "How was Warmachine Weekend for us?"
It was it was fantastic. First off, Lee, I owe you a video, and I haven't produced it because the minute I walked in the door from Warmachine Weekend, I was on a plane out to Seattle. So I owe you a video thing that he wants for the bleeped up production stuff. And I highly recommend anybody hearing my voice look up for Bleeped Up Productions. He does some really strong production value stuff, and he's a tremendous fella. So check that out. And The Murder of Crows is a new podcast. It's a very Kador focused one, looking at they've got Lee, they've got Marth Fright, they've got Neek, who I think most of you who are hearing my voice know of Neek and those guys from from Tin Man XL's Steam Powered TV, and super wonderful fellas, and I wish them all the best of luck heading down there. Talking about having me on the show because they want legitimacy, and they know that by having me that they will most likely be able to help themselves keep from pod fading too quickly.
Exactly.
So there was there was a question there, wasn't there? I don't think I even got remotely close to answering it.
Yes, how was your Warmachine Weekend? You sort of covered it earlier.
But it was terrific.
I didn't watch a lot of videos. I did keep track of how the Invitational was doing, but funny based on what happened this week. I actually don't watch a lot of videos because people get stuff wrong and it drives me insane, so I don't watch it.
Yeah.
I used to watch Steam Powered TV. Did a bunch of would stream them playing on Vassal, and it would drive me insane when they made little mistakes. So not going to bother. I'll watch a little bit of a game here and there, but I have a thing where I don't. A lot of people watch stuff in the background and just look up a bit. If I watch something, I'm probably watching it.
Yep.
I have a hard time keeping it in the background. So.
Yeah, if you really want to watch some wretched play, John, that'll make your hair stand on end, watch Brushmachine. Holy cow!
I've watched some. It's. You guys don't forget a lot of stuff actually. Your rules are tight enough. It's not like big glaring things. Also, you're not playing Mercenaries. You play Mercenaries, and notice a lot more.
Oh God, yeah, that's playing with fire at that point.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So let's see. Oh, here's some. We've got a couple more from this week. We should catch up with this week at least.
Yay.
Rekaran says, "How do you handle playing the game with someone who is bad at simple math?"
Bad at simple math. I guess the best thing you do is to. I guess what I would tend to do is, I'm pretty fast at the dice minus stuff, and I will generally say, okay, so I'm dice minus 4, right? Because I usually know the stats of most of the models in the game also, just sort of off the top of my head. So I guess the best thing you can do is be patient. Number one is that, God made us all in different ways, and, not everyone's gifted at math, and other people have other gifts. So be patient and understanding. But try to, other than that, you can help by, kind of chiming in a little bit without pointing out, hey, dummy, don't you know what that is? You don't have to go there, of course, but just kind of chime in with what the dice minus is and help the game flow that way, perhaps. What do you think, John?
Well, I think there's 2 ways. You can either chime in and help them with the math, or if they really want to learn, then you just be patient with them. Maybe give them some tips, but don't inundate them with tips, because sometimes it confuses them. Because one of our players, because Champions is a big dice game. I mean, every time you roll damage, you'll be rolling like 12 dice or so, 12d6.
Wow.
So you have to add that up. And, we're all quick about it. A lot of us have been playing for years, are quick. But some of the newer players, takes them some time to math it up. Just let them do it.
Yep.
They'll get better. And with anything, it takes practice.
It's a call to game, folks.
Yep.
Relax and have fun. It doesn't have to be a big, serious thing.
Actually, I'm going to audible to one from another week that is somewhat... Yeah, here we go. Declan Lowry from a couple weeks ago asked, should gaming be promoted at schools to encourage reading, maths, and social interaction?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In fact, reading will, playing dice games, simple dice games, will help you do your basic maths.
Yep, absolutely.
And social interaction, it seems like you should learn that in school inherently, but not everyone does. And making people play games together that force them to interact will help them, because you disguise it in a veil of having fun.
Yep. And when you can make there's a lot of research out there around gamification of learning and work, and it's really a really strong way of teaching finding complex solutions to difficult problems and things like that. For any of the Brushheads who are interested, there's a woman by the name of Jane McGonigal. If you look up on YouTube for her TED Talk, I would recommend that. I would also recommend her book, Reality is Broken, which is all about the gamification and how gamification of research problems and things like that can really speed solutions to things. So good question.
Yeah, I wanted to get that earlier, but it was pertinent at this point, so we'll slide it in there.
There you go.
Looks like 3 more. We got one from Wonky Kong here in the chat room asking, "Hey John, did you remember Defeat?"
No, I remember Defeat, but you didn't. So that's a bit of a spoiler for the Brushmachine, that it is pretty important to Feet. And he still, well, Gucci said almost spoiled. But, yeah, turns out that Vlad has an important good feat, Vlad 1 that is, that involves making his jacks real fast, that help you get to, important war beasts like Mulg. And if you don't, then you tend to not kill Mulg, and then Mulg tends to kill you. So,
Damn, I realized I totally didn't feat that entire game of Iros 2, and there's a turn where I probably should have feated, and it would have been pretty good.
okay, now it looks like we're back up. So let's see how it does here.
Oh. Gotcha.
We're back up. We should be back up now.
All right. Not sure what happened there, guys. Looks like a little hiccup.
Yep, and
Sound off when you hear us.
And we're having problems again.
Uh-oh.
We're at 0 kilobytes. It's just being unstable right now. So it's catching up and it's doing weird things. All right. So let's hope that it continues to go well here. I don't think anything changed here at Casa John as far as internet usage, but that was really weird. Could be just internet's being difficult because they're hard.
Yep, sorry about that, but we're back. Bonzi's got us back, so hopefully most everyone... if you're not seeing us back, why am I saying it? If you're not seeing us back, you're not hearing me.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. So if you're not seeing us, don't complain about it. So anyway,
I posted it in the. There we go. So I think we're pretty much covered that one.
Yep.
Next one is Mr. Baron 101 asks, how many painted models do we have?
Oh God, I don't even know. I have my Retribution army is 100% painted, and it has one of everything, and 2 of some things. My Protectorate army is fully painted. It's got one of everything and two of many things. My trolls, I have probably as many painted as unpainted, so that's over 100. I don't know. What about you, John? I can't even count.
Well, if you're going Warmachine, I could probably field 3 pretty unique mercenary armies at about 50 points or so with specialists, and it'd be all painted or so close to painted it wouldn't take me long to get there. For Ret, hey, I've got 2 painted models. For Circle, no. For other games, I'll take pictures one of these days when we do a Brushhead gallery. I will dust off the superhero models we've got from years of playing Champions. We've got tons of superhero models that have been repainted or converted from GW stuff or taken from other places that I have in my case. I got a ton of fantasy models. All told, I have a fair amount of painted stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So we'll try to do some type of an inventory at some point. I don't know what's going on with the stream. It continues to fluctuate. We're getting a lot of dropped frames and things like that. So I'm not sure how good this is going to be, but we'll try.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Hopefully it'll keep okay.
Yep.
Well, one more FlippityBloop for this week, and it's for you specifically.
Okay.
And that's Dagger Die 3 asks, would you make any changes to my Grateful Doomed list after playing it?
Oh, yes. I would take the Boom Howlers out. The Boom Howlers are 9 points, and so this is obviously Dan Reichert, who has asked the question. I would take the Boom Howlers out, and while there was one instance where it was really super sweet to have Boom Howlers because yes, they had the 4+ tough, but I Rage Howlered and really made him think hard about whether or not he was going to send any jacks in near where Mulg was, because Rage Howler would make his Mat 5 jacks into Mat 3, and that makes for sad times. The other thing, I guess the only thing I would change him out for, because I'm a big fan, for 9 points you could get an entire unit of Creel Warriors, which are a little bit about the same speed as the Boom Howlers. They hit more accurately, although they don't have ranged attacks. And you would get that with the UA and a Caber Tosser as well. And I think that is a particularly potent package for 9 points. And I don't know that I would have necessarily done a whole lot better. He had a lot of shooting in the list. He had the Rifle Corps with Joe on it, and he had the He had the Widowmakers with the Marksmen, and he had Kel Baylock. So he had a lot of snipers and things like that. But that's a lot of models, and it's a lot of models with tough, no knockdown. So I think there's some love there for sure.
Cool.
Yep. So anyhow, Flippity Bloop. Is that the end of our Flippity
Well,
Bloops?
that is all. That's all from this week, and we even got one out of the backlog.
Woohoo! Well, we're living large now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to tell you what. The stream appears to have stabilized somewhat. I'm wondering. I'm going to ask my child, who is upstairs, what if anything he was doing up on the PlayStation or whatnot at 8 o'clock. I may just have to ban him from all things electronic for an hour and a half on Sunday nights. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, could also be a random thing that updates by itself.
Could be.
Never know.
I'm just really disappointed that it affects the broadcast the way that it does. Because now I get to try and sew this damn episode together before I put it up on YouTube, and that's not a good time. So
Fair enough.
well, I guess that gets us to the third segment of our show tonight, John.
It does.
Yay! I'm painting silver onto my champion hero here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I will get a little more of the raspberry here. So on behalf of all the people who put in the Flippity Bloops this week, super happy that you did. This one's for you. Hey, Ron.
Ron. All right.
People asking four winter trolls. What on earth? Well,
It's a minimum unit.
it's a min unit. You can get them in 4s or 6s, and I went with 4. And it's a situation when you get armies from two different people contributed armies here, and one of them came with 3, and the other one came with 1. So what am I supposed to do? Throw one out? I find it difficult to throw out models, and
Yeah.
so I've
You got
tried.
4.
What's that?
This means you got 4.
That's
You'll
right.
Find a use.
That's right. And I've tried it with Gunbjorn, and it's kind of like boostable scattergunners, kind of,
That's kind of cool.
but less of them. So
Fair enough.
yeah, so that's why I have them. Anyway, so as far as media is concerned, John, we have a Painting with Menoth John movie club that's a hangover from last month, and that is The Braveheart, and
Yep.
a Mel Gibson tip before he went completely and utterly insane.
Absolutely, completely and utterly insane.
Yep, he's kind of nuts. Go ahead.
Trying to figure out the date we'll be reviewing that on. 2, 4, 5, 6. Looks like December 7th. We'll be hitting that one up.
Cool. So December 7th,
Sunday.
make sure you got it all watched, folks. I finally watched it here this last week, but we wanted to give the Brushheads a little bit more time because I was lazy before and got to set a good role model for the Brushheads. So we're going to give you a little extra time. It's a great movie. You need to watch it. Watch it.
I may even watch it again. It's streaming now.
Yep. So
Luckily, Bowie loaned me his copy, but now it's streaming. So
there you go. So yeah, watch it again. It's pretty good. It's 3 hours. It's not a light work of nonfiction, but
it's not even a work of nonfiction.
whatever. It's close enough for me. I'm gonna be walking around
Based on a true story.
I'm gonna be walking around SmogCon, going, "What did you do to the Scots? Why?"
May not be the best call, but
And then every Scotsman I walk up to him and go, "Why didn't you vote for independence? Look what you did to William Wallace, and now you had a chance. He's spinning in his grave, he is." So there you go. That's what I'm going to do at SmogCon.
I'm certain that will go over very well.
Be a big hit with the Euros. Big hit with the
Absolutely.
Euros. They love me. Anyway, so. But, so you saw a movie that called Red, did you not?
Yes, I saw it last week. This week was a little busy. Hey, rumor has it Black Friday is coming, and if you supply retailers with stuff, you're busy right now.
Yeah, I imagine
But
that is the case.
yeah, but I did get a chance to see it. It's sort of one of those all-star ensemble casts, headlined by Bruce Willis. And the whole theme is that he is a retired Black Ops agent for the CIA, who is listed as Red, retired, extremely dangerous. And
Gotcha.
people come to try and kill him, and he doesn't know why. And the movie is basically your standard. Hey, why are these people trying to kill me? Oh, there's some crazy thing going on. Let's figure it all out and have a bunch of fun with my old buddies in the process.
Cool. So,
I mean,
so we're talking about a Bruce Willis headlined version of The Expendables.
Sort of. It's Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Morgan Freeman. Good Lord, what's the name of the woman in it? My brain just stopped. Helen Mirren.
Okay.
And then it also has, nerd fan favorite. God damn it, my brain just Carl Urban in it.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
It's very amusing. I still laugh at it. I've seen it 3 or 4 times now, and I still laugh at it when I watch it. Yes, Banian. John Malkovich is just on point, playing an absolutely crazy, crazy guy in it. He might be the absolutely funniest part of that movie.
He might also be the best actor in the entire film.
He also may be that. But, I mean, Helen Mirren's a pretty good actress, so,
True that.
But it's a good time. It's, it sort of hits the notes you'd expect with a little bit of love story in there, but they wear it on their sleeve. It's sort of the idea that Bruce Willis is tearing up his pension checks just so he can call and talk to the nice young lady on the other, younger than him lady on the other side of the phone at the pension services who get to send him a new check out. It starts with that. It hits some really funny notes. Fair point. This movie and the laws of physics have a tenuous relationship. Let's just say they've misbust part of this, and it didn't work.
And which part is it? Can you say it without spoiling?
Sure, it's not really a spoiler. It's when someone shoots an RPG at John Malkovich, and he shoots it with a revolver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shot an RPG with a revolver and kept himself from getting hurt, huh?
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool to see. Obviously, that wouldn't really happen, but I don't think anyone really thought that would happen. So, I mean, there's that.
Fair enough.
But all in all, it's a good time. I really like Carl Urban in it too. He's amusing. He is not a protagonist. He's actually probably the main antagonist. But Bruce Willis puts in his standard work, which is pretty good in every movie. Obviously not his best work, but he does straight man pretty well.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's got some really fun moments. It's a good chuckle, and I found it at the local grocery store for like $5. It's not one you're gonna need to buy a Blu-ray of. Special features might be cool. I don't know if my DVD has it, but just find the cheapest version. The movie's the important part here. It's not like a sci-fi extravaganza where you're gonna have the super digitally remastered Blu-ray combo pack of Doom.
Extra extended dance mix version.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good time. I'm going to give it 1 shot at Kraken, and that's only barely because occasionally it's a little bit predictable or a little too silly.
Got it.
But still 1 shot at Kraken.
Well, that's an excellent one. I'm going to quickly review the Ichiban Studios paintbrushes that I'm using right now, and I'm a little bit bummed out right now. I had one stray hair already on this one brush, and my Winsor Newtons don't have like any stray ones, and I've been using them for a long, long time. And that's been kind of my complaint about the Games and Gears brushes, is that the hybrid ones lose their point a little bit. This one, they definitely hold their point better than some other brushes that I've used, but they do suffer a little bit there. I would say that they're a good brush. They're a very good brush. I don't think that they will dislodge my Winsor Newton Series 7s as my number one brush, but they're darn good. And I'll tell you something, they were also a heck of a lot cheaper than the Series 7. So I would give these brushes, I'll give it probably, I'm going to do a different scale. I'm going to give it 4 paint pots. So, and 4 being good. So five paint pots being the best you can get. I'm going to give it 4 paint pots. So
4 out of 5 paint pots. Okay, cool.
yeah. So, because I mean, this is a brush that you could dip in a paint pot and feel good about dipping it in it. And you have to feel good about dipping in something in a paint pot. And this is a brush you can feel good about really easing it in and making sure that you got your flow going. And it's a good brush for that. So there you go. Anyway,
oh my.
So
it seems like they'd be a good next step for me.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that there's nothing you couldn't do with one of these, buddy. I mean, you know, you've been around, you've tried different brushes and different paint pots, and I think that this is one you'd be very satisfied with.
Well, just to make it more awkward, I would say false on one of those statements.
Well, that's fine. So that's between us kids, and nobody has to know, and you know, that's fine. So.
Yep. So you saw something this week?
Yes, I did. I saw a little bit of Snowpiercer. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but I really was pretty impressed with what I saw. It's got, you know, when I heard people say, you know, you got to you're either going to be in with the concept and the premise, or you're out. There just isn't a whole lot of middle ground, and that's very true. The premise of Snowpiercer is that all of humanity was attempting to conquer global warming, and in the process, they froze the whole damn planet solid.
Sounds like it worked to me.
Yeah, it worked a little too good, and for some reason, the ideal way to survive this apocalypse was to get on a train that wraps around the entire world and go really fast.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so there you go. That's, if you can get past that, you're probably in a pretty good place to enjoy Snowpiercer. Turns out that they have lined up the train by class. So the rich folk are all up in the front of the train, up by the engine, the divine engine, because a religion is growing up around the engine now, and all of the lower class people are back in the rear of the train, and that was decided when ticketing took place originally, 15 plus years ago. This train's been going around the globe for 15 years for some reason. And they now there's a revolution afoot. And the story of Snowpiercer is the story of these revolutionaries moving forward in the car. So they've gotten through a couple cars. I haven't gotten obviously up all the way to the front. It's a very fun movie. Like I said, once you get past the whole premise thing, if you can suspend your disbelief long enough to get there, you're going to have a good time with it. It's very stylistic. It looks like, from the credits and things, it looks like it possibly was a movie that came out of Hong Kong.
It was.
It is really well done. John Hurt is in it, and he does a very nice job with it. And so it's a good flick. So I would recommend you guys. I was watching it on, I believe, Netflix, and it's a good flick. So probably feels like, from what I've watched so far, a couple shots of Kraken might be in order, because it'll help you get past that whole suspension of disbelief part in the beginning, and will aid you as you hurtle your way around the globe on Snowpiercer. So
excellent. I might have to check that out at some point.
Yep, pretty good flick. Not bad. You got it. Like I said, it's not bad. Anything else that you saw this week, John? I know you didn't have a whole lot of time, but I've got a few other things to talk about if you don't have anything else.
Oh no, my wife and I are actually catching up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
We've been TiVoing it as it comes out. We're about 2 or 3 episodes into the season, and very much liking what we see.
Cool. We haven't started watching.
I've been on board from the beginning, but
you
haven't started watching yet?
No.
Well, remember, when you do, there's a point, and you'll know when it is. You're going to need to jump in and watch Captain America: Winter Soldier in the middle there.
And I've not seen that yet.
Everyone's on board.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's a good time to see it. Actually, it'll work out very well. I mean, I'm sure it's been semi-spoiled to hell for you.
Actually, no. I've been able to avoid it, and so I definitely want to see it.
Then I will put my copy on the bottom of my DVD pile, so don't watch it and try and review it here while you haven't seen it.
Awesome. That would be very helpful. So we'll catch up on. I'll talk to Belinda, and we'll have to start catching up on that.
Yeah, but you'll know when to watch it and watch at that point. At that point, everyone's on.
Yep. Okay, so we stopped streaming again, but now we're back. It automatically reconnected. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it and see what happens.
Fair enough. So HCL beginning of the season, I'm going to give the beginning of the season, I'm going to give it 1.5 shots of Kraken.
Okay.
And from what I understand, it actually gets better as it goes. So I'm looking forward to that. We just need to get some time. Life's been extra lifey, as I've been saying this week, and we'll get through it, and we'll get some more episodes watched, and it'll be super sweet. I'm sure.
Yeah, keep the co-host in your thoughts and prayers this week as he gets through life and stuff like that. You know, keep the positivity train rolling in his direction, because even those of us here on the Painting with Men with John show need a little extra of karma every now and again. So send it towards Mr. John this week.
Nah, I'm good. Send it to someone who really needs it. I'm through it. It's all good.
All right. Okay, send some my way then, because I don't mind having a few extra good thoughts. Nothing's going bad, but I can always use good thoughts. So.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see. All right, so it's there. We're back. Whatever. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. I'm pretty much sure I can't waste my time worrying about it. But I played a couple board games. I bought a couple of board games that were based on some stuff I played at Warmachine Weekend.
Cool.
I got one game called, let's see, it's called Five Tribes. It's by Days of Wonder, the people who make the fabulous train game that they talk about on Crippled System, otherwise known as Ticket to Ride. And it is a meeple moving game where you have different colored meeples and you move them around tiles, and you start at one tile, you pick up all the meeples in that pile, and then you drop them and sort of like you're leaving breadcrumbs as you move them across different tiles. And the only rule is that the last meeple that falls has to have one of the same color in that square as well. And then you pick up all the meeples of that color, and then depending upon the color that you're picking up, like let's say it's blue, you get a gold coin for every blue tile that is around it. And so it's maybe a little bit hard to describe, but it's super fun. Really, I think it's one that I can play with my kids and Belinda. And it's got a very robust scoring system, so that you really don't know necessarily, like many Euro games, you don't necessarily know who won until the last second. So it's really fun, and so that's one of them. The other one I got was Splendor, which is a game where you have like poker chips of different colors, and you are purchasing other cards to kind of build up an economic engine. It's kind of like a poker chip version of a deck building game. So should be fun.
Cool.
So
for anyone who's on the feed, I linked both those on Board Game Geek in the feed.
Yeah, I know that Five Tribes is pretty well thought of, and I think Splendor is also very well thought of. So if you're looking for a board game to kind of fill your time, I would highly recommend either one of those.
Cool.
Well, I'm kind of done painting for tonight. I don't care to anymore. I'm going to go ahead and flip it up onto the face cam here as we close out the show.
Enough.
So, it's been the technical problems haven't been quite as bad. At least I'm not having to restart the computer midstream. I'm still going to have to figure out how to put the two different parts of this stream back together, or at least figure out how many of the different parts there are and stitch all of them together. So that'll be sort of interesting. So it may be a challenge to get this out on Tuesday, but we'll do the best job we can. Sure isn't going up tonight, I promise you that.
Fair enough.
But so anything else, John, you got for the Brushheads tonight, or should we call this one a done deal?
I think we should call this one a done deal. I think I'm about I'm about ready to blow some people up in Borderlands too.
Well, that sounds good. You know, that's always whoop. That's always a good thing to do. What happened there? I think I lost. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and start the music because that is what I am want to do here. I'm just going to look over here and get that going. Boom. So let's see. Make sure we've got some volume going on here. There we go. There's the dulcet tones that we like to listen to. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Another fun-filled hour and a half of frivolity here on Painting with Menoth John. If you want one of those Podfather t-shirts, make sure you haul your butt over there to teespring.com/Podfather. If you're still interested in a shot glass, those are still available by emailing me at pwmenothjohn@gmail.com, and I'll send them right. Okay, and on behalf of John and on behalf of Menoth John, have yourself a wonderful time. We'll see you next time.